What's up, guys? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, January 8th, 2020.
Man.
I'm Tim Geddes. This is the new face of video games.
Oh,
Blessing
man.
Adeoye Jr.
All these lofty proclamations.
Hey, you ain't going to be shit unless, you make yourself shit.
I mean, yesterday, Greg said that this show is now my own. Mm-hmm. The day before that, I recorded PS I Love You XOXO. All this pressure.
Which is live now. You can go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to check out the first episode of Volume 2 of PS I Love You XOXO with Greg Miller and Blessing.
Yes.
How was that?
It was really fun. Shockingly fun.
Yeah.
It was like 2 hours of just PlayStation talk in a way where I think going into it, I was a bit worried because, we have KFGD, we have Gamescast, we have both a new show and a show where we talk about impressions, right? And so I think that begs the question of what are we talking about on PS I Love You XOXO? And halfway during the podcast, I was like, nope, this works perfectly because it's just us talking about PlayStation and it's conversational and it's free-flowing the way I think people love and in a way I think people remember from the Beyond days. And I think it encompasses everything that's great about what Kind of Funny does.
I'm proud of you, man. You guys are doing great stuff. I'm very thankful to all of you out there for showing so much support to the first episode. You can watch it on YouTube. You can also listen to it on podcast services. If you used to subscribe to PS I Love You on podcast services, you might have been bumped because it kind of does this like weird culling thing where sometimes it unsubscribes you. Or even if you're still subscribed, long story short, go in there, unsubscribe, resubscribe if you want to make sure that you're being notified every week for that.
Tim. Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
This has nothing to do with video games.
Oh, man.
I want to ask you about your morning routine.
Oh, yeah?
This is my third day here.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm still getting used to how do I eat breakfast before I leave the house? Do I get breakfast on the way? Do I just wait until after the show to eat? Like, what time do I wake up? What time do I get here? And so I've been experimenting with different morning routines. I haven't found the right one yet. So I want to know, for you, on days where you're hosting KFGD.
It took me many years to get this done. I don't eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast guy. Never have. Never will be. Except for the fact that I am. I became one because of Nick Scarpino and his damn egg bites from Starbucks.
Egg bites!
So usually I'll drive in. What I'll do is I'll put in a mobile order to Starbucks at the West Portal Starbucks. Then I'll drive, pull over, run in, pick up my Trenta iced coffee, a little bit of them egg bites, make it way over there, pop those things in my mouth. There's my morning.
Sounds good.
Here we are on Kind of Funny Games Daily. What's up, Kev?
If you want to try that, Blessing, there is a Starbucks about 2 blocks away from your car.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
I know.
I've been hitting up at McDonald's all the time, and I ate at that IHOP. I can't say too much if or else I'll give away my location. But
I mean, the people can triangulate right now.
Oh yeah,
Triangulate.
But there are quite a few good places around me.
McDonald's. Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Damn. A lot of my life was there.
At that McDonald's.
Yeah, at that particular.
It's all true. It's all true. But this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, we get together to talk about all the nerdy video game news that you need to know. You can watch the show live. You can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or podcast services around the globe. You can also get the show ad-free with the exclusive post show by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Thank you all for all your support. This month, we're doing the big crowdfunding push to try to, support the future of Kind of Funny, support our new studio that we got, support all our new people and new cool ideas that we want to do. So you can go to either patreon.com/kindoffunny or patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to help do all of that stuff. The platinum tier is really awesome this month. You can get the KFA FEP. Go check that stuff out. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later. Like I said, you can be part of the show by going to Patreon, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free along with exclusive daily post shows. This is my first Games Daily. This is my first time talking about video games on camera in 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, it's
Crazy
exciting.
times,
This is our
man.
first time one-on-one.
I feel like you've been doing a bazillion. This is also our first show together.
Yep.
Well, for Kind of Funny. I did some OKB stuff.
You did. But I don't think any of them have been like one-on-one.
Actually, in person, right? And they haven't been one-on-one either.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those other motherfuckers were there.
Exactly.
Anyways, now,
Alex Van Aken.
Nothing in between us, man. You got to love it. Some housekeeping. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Blackjack and Mohammed. PS I Love You. It's live now. You can go check it out.
Yeah.
And later today, if you are at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, silver member or above, you get to watch our Gamescast Game of the Year deliberations live.
I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be good, man.
Everybody's going to be there.
Yeah, everyone's going to be there. Me, you, Greg,
Fran.
We got Fran, we got Imran,
Yep.
and I think Andy's on that one too.
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to be a stacked house where we will decide Kind of Funny's Game of the Year.
You guys call in Andrea?
2019. And
That'd be
today
awesome.
we are brought to you by Mint Mobile, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. We got 5 stories today.
Oh, Baker's doesn't. Fuck you, Tim.
I hate you, goddamn it, Kevin. I was testing you, and you passed. You passed. Oh man, I love this show. All right, news story number 1 is the GDC 2020 nominations are
Man,
live.
let's freaking go.
Oh.
Going into today, on my way here, I was a little bit worried because I had not heard anything as far as video game news, and so I was like, oh, this might be a slow show. But now we have a gold mine right here.
We got that gold mine
Yeah.
today, nomination day. You gotta love it. Let's start off with a little best audio category. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's gonna be an obvious one.
So we got Death Stranding, we got Sayonara Wild Hearts, we have Control, we have Untitled Goose Game, and then we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
And they have a bunch of honorable mentions. I didn't know that was the thing that they did.
Cadence of
Awesome.
Hyrule, Fallen Order is
Yeah.
up there, Disco Elysium, Ape Out. Ooh, Ape Out, that's a good one for sound design.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
Ape Out, I
really
feel like should be
good.
nominated. I'm shocked
Yeah.
that there's no Resident Evil 2. I feel like if you were to ask me a winner, aside from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I would probably say Resident Evil 2 would be my video game sound design.
So here's
winner.
my thing, and I said this on some Gamescast a while back when we were talking about sound design. I think it was the Game Awards predictions, but I loved the Resident Evil 2 sound design, with the exception of their Dolby Atmos headphone mix, which is very upsetting because that's what should be the best thing that they had going
Yeah.
for them on the Xbox One X, and it just never felt right. When I would take it off and just listen with speakers, it was fantastic. But it's just like you'd think that the best way to listen to this thing, especially with headphones, should kind of be like the optimal experience.
Dang, that's
but-
shocking. That's upsetting, actually.
Yeah, but I appreciate that Capcom's been really pushing the game forward when it comes to Dolby Atmos mixes and really caring about 3D sound design in their games. So I'd rather them try, but I really hope that RE3 kind of fixes some of those problems.
Interesting. I will say, as far as RE2, me playing on my TV and alternating between that and my headphones, just like the way the zombies would kind of groan and moan and all that stuff, and then that mixed with the jump scare moments and how you would hear it'd be like a mixture of the soundtrack and just like ambient sounds mixing together to create just a terrifying experience.
I mean, Mr.
overall.
X, right?
Oh,
just the
yeah.
footsteps, just the
footsteps.
like the bass sounds that would happen where you're
Yeah.
just like, I am terrified, and you always knew exactly where he was. That is great sound design. But
Sayonara
yeah,
Wild Hearts, I think, is an interesting one because that was all music.
yeah. Well, so it's best audio is the category. It's not best sound design necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So that's the other thing too is I don't know exactly how these are voted on. Whereas Game Awards, we knew the different list of all the people here. So we'll see, because that could sway what ends up getting it, right? Because
Yeah.
we knew that the Call of Duty Modern Warfare was going to get it because of that E3 Judges Week thing that Greg always talks about. But all right, cool. Moving on. Best debut: Disco Elysium, Outer Wilds, Manifold Garden.
I have not heard that one.
Me neither. Knights and Bikes or Neocab.
I
Saw some Neocabs getting a shout out
yeah,
there.
shout out to Neocab. I think it's between Disco Elysium and Outer Wilds. I think those are the two games last year that kind of came out and kind of knocked people back. Like, both those games are games. Outer Wilds especially is a game that I've heard people like refer to as one of their favorite games of all time. Which I tried Outer Wilds multiple times and I couldn't get into it. And I still, like, part of me wants to just force myself to get to the end of that game because I've not heard one person who's beaten that game and doesn't proclaim that game is like their jam. But that game just doesn't onboard you very easily. Like, you kind of have to kind of push through it to get to the good part, it seems like. In Disco Elysium, similarly, I've heard people talk about how that game, as a CRPG, does things to kind of pull you in, even if you aren't a fan of that genre. Like, I think I was listening to IGN UK, and those guys were talking about how, at least one of them, I forget who it was. It might have been Simon Carter or somebody, but somebody was like, "Oh yeah, like I don't even like these types of games," and Disco Elysium pulled me in. That, along with like GameSpot people loving it. I think GameSpot gave it a 10 out of 10, and so I think those two games are probably the front runners. But yeah, shout out to all these nominees. It looks like a good list. I want to know more about Manifold Garden.
Kev, can you look up Manifold Garden real quick?
On it.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like this one's going to go to Disco. I think that going into Game Awards, I would have said it was Outer Wilds, but then seeing the reaction to Disco Elysium, I think that only has helped that game kind of get
and Disco
played
Elysium
by more people.
Disco Elysium was the game that won the most Game Awards, right? Is that right? Yeah.
What a year 2019 was, you know?
Right?
That's rad.
Yeah, that's out of this world.
Bring this up, Kev. Thank you.
So we're looking at Manifold Gardens.
Manifold Garden.
Or Manifold
gameplay.
Garden, yeah.
Yeah, Manifold Garden from William CHYR Choir.
So it's a PC game.
Ooh,
First person.
love the colors, man.
Yes,
look
this
at them,
looks
look
like-
at them gradients.
Whoa,
This looks like Antichamber. Have you ever played Antichamber?
No.
It's another PC game. Oh, I wonder if it's by the same guy as Antichamber, because I loved Antichamber. So
Google it, dude.
Antichamber was like this first-person puzzle game. Looks exactly like this, where you are essentially doing these mind-bending puzzles. This has to be. Hold on.
Well, I'm looking at William Cryer right now, the studio. This is their debut.
Really?
That's what they're up for. So
This looks exactly like Antichamber. Huh. So yeah, audio listeners is essentially a first-person stylized puzzle game, assumably. Yeah, look up Antichamber.
So the game was inspired by Antichamber.
Okay, I'm playing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to play it too. That looks
Dude,
good.
Antichamber, that came out like beginning of the decade-ish.
Antichamber was made by Dem Ruth. It came out January 31st, 2013.
So it's super cool.
Whoa.
Think like The Witness or any other sort of like first-person puzzle game. But yeah, it came out obviously before The Witness. Really trippy, really very much like you are
Speed run.
you're essentially solving these environmental puzzles, and they're all meant to kind of like mess with your perspective. I'm not even like a huge like PC gamer, but this game was worth getting on my laptop and playing because it's a really cool game.
We got Best Design, Baba Is You, Outer Wilds, Death Stranding, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Untitled Goose Game.
That Baba Is You is an interesting one. Also, Untitled Goose Game is another interesting one.
Yeah,
where it's
Untitled
like,
Goose Game.
I love that game.
As
Do
far
you?
as best design,
Oh my god, are you kidding? It's like it's a puzzle game.
I've never
I
heard
thought you were about to say it's a Kevin simulator.
I've never heard you talk about Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, me neither.
Baba Is You is a really cool game. Are you familiar with it?
Mhm.
Yeah, the top-down puzzle game where you're essentially programming, doing block puzzles, but you're pushing words together to help you solve puzzles.
And so that's the cool thing there is that I feel like Baba Is You is definitely a contender for that.
Yeah.
But Death Stranding, just because it has the pedigree that it has, I feel there's so much like clout that just goes into like wanting to vote for that. Some of the honorable mentions here, pretty interesting. We got Apex Legends on there as well.
Yeah, Apex Legends I feel like doesn't get enough love
Yeah.
as far as awards.
Luigi's Mansion 3, Disco Elysium, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order as well. Innovation Award, Untitled Goose Game,
All right,
Disco Elysium, Baba Is You, Death Stranding,
Are you
or
just
Outer
reading
Wilds.
the same list over and over again, or?
I mean,
That's what it feels like.
That's
Yeah.
video games, right? But yeah, it's they're all in different orders. I don't really see the rhyme or reason there. But Innovation Award, Baba Is You sounds like a pretty innovative
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I would probably go with Outer Wilds,
Mm-hmm.
judging from the way people talk about Outer Wilds, as far as like it being something that feels super new. I think it was Giant Bomb who I was listening to where one of them was saying that like if more games come out that are essentially like Outer Wilds, then it's essentially created a new genre for what it is, because it's very for all the things that kind of push me away from it, I think are the same things that pull people into Outer Wilds, where you jump into that game and you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to essentially operate in this world, and the way that you kind of progress is by learning what goes on and by learning the rules of the world, similar to something like The Witness, but I feel like Outer Wilds is even more amorphous than that. And so with how different and weird Outer Wilds is and how successful the people who love that game would say it is, I could very well see that game pulling it.
Best mobile game, Sayonara Wild Hearts, What the Golf, Grindstone, Sky, Children of Light, Call of Duty Mobile.
Is Grindstone the one that Greg's is
Yes.
obsessed with?
Yeah, Grindstone's the one that like the games industry is obsessed with. Like everyone
Well,
everyone
it sounds
that,
like that's an easy one.
that
then,
jumped
isn't
on it. Well, that's the thing though, is like so that was an Apple Arcade darling when it first came out. I feel like Sayonara Wild Hearts kind of gets split because it was also on
Yeah.
console, so people don't really think of it that
And I
way.
feel like Sayonara Wild Hearts is better on consoles, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I tried playing it on mobile, and I just wasn't. It wasn't vibing with me, mainly because of the controls. I liked the music and I liked the visuals, but I definitely wanted a controller. And I know I could have played with a controller, but I didn't have one on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the golf people like as well, but I feel like Sky is one of those games that didn't hit the peaks that it was expected to, coming from the pedigree of that game company. And people played it, but taking something like that game company's design philosophy and applying it to the iOS ecosystem and the amount of people that can play it, they didn't show up in the same way that PS3 players did for Journey.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of hurt it a lot.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. If I had to guess, I would say probably either Grindstone or Call of Duty Mobile. Because Call of Duty Mobile was the one that I think we all counted out during the Game Awards.
Yep, and then it won.
It won.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with Call of Duty Mobile and how well that game performs. As far as like actual like gameplay, I'm sure it sells phenomenally.
From all accounts, it plays very well. Fran was talking about it a while back, and I know some of the people that my friends just play it religiously.
Yeah, and so that game might just be like technically incredible, which could lead it to winning this.
Honorable mentions are Mutia Zone, Assemble with Care, Archero, Card of Darkness, Mini Motorways. Card of Darkness is Fran's jam.
Really?
Yeah, that's a game the last
I've never
couple
heard of
games
it.
cast. Like, he just keeps pushing. It's like, it's math and magic and cards. And it's like, Fran, you are a nerd.
Interesting.
Card of
I love
Darkness?
it, though. Card of Darkness by Choice Provisions.
No
It's
Teppen
another
here.
Apple Arcade game.
No Teppen.
Did you play Teppen?
No. Ian, the homie from OK Beast plays Teppen and loves it. I want to try it because I hear good things about Teppen.
You want to pull up Card of Darkness right now, Kev?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun because it looks weirder than I thought.
Yes.
Card game and a strategy game?
Huh. So this looks interesting. Very colorful.
It's got a little world map going on.
Very cute.
Yeah, so this is the gameplay here.
This is what Fran does in his free time.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like mini Fire Emblem
Man,
style
this
kind of
looks like something
strategy.
I'd mess with. This seems like something I'd like.
Oh, yeah. It's a Kevin Ass
This
game.
does look like a great time waster.
Oh, yeah. Look at the little dancing guy down there. You gotta love it. Moving on, Best Narrative. Disco Elysium, Control, Death Stranding, The Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds.
My personal pick would be Control, but what I think will get it, probably Disco Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's that one at Game Awards.
Yeah.
This is the first category, if I remember correctly, in any Game Awards that we've seen, any official Game Awards, where both Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds are in the same category.
Really?
I might be
man.
wrong about it. You can go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to let me know. But I think so.
That might be right.
Yeah. But yeah, Best Narrative. I feel like it's one of those things where Control and Death Stranding split it.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves room for all the people that are really pushing for Disco Elysium to come through.
I could see that.
Man, I really wish I finished Control.
I
I played until you got the gun, and that was it. And it's like 20 minutes.
Control's thing. The thing that I think will hold Control back is that I think the main story in Control is a bit forgettable as far as like what's going on with Jesse Faden and like her brother and all that stuff. I feel like that stuff kind of isn't as strong as the lore of the world, or like what's going on with the facility, all the things that you pick up and read, and all the things that are surrounding the main narrative. That stuff is incredible, and that's some of the best environmental storytelling I feel like I've seen in a game. But the main story is a bit forgettable. But for me, when I'm playing a video game, I kind of prefer all the stuff around the world, like all the stuff that I can see, all the stuff that I can look around and like pick up. I feel like that's what makes video game storytelling interesting, which is why my pick would be Control. But I think from what I've heard about Disco Elysium's story, it seems pretty solid, and it seems like a lot of people have fallen in love with it, giving it winning the Game Awards story, and so that's why I see it winning.
We got Best Technology going to either Death Stranding, Control, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Apex Legends, or Noita.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know Noita either. Can you check that out?
That?
Noita. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Cool. Yeah, Best Technology.
Noita.
Yes.
Noita.
Here we got the Noita reveal trailer. Okay, cool.
Huh. It's a
Really-
side scroller. Every pixel is simulated.
Huh.
I don't know what that means.
That's technology, though,
Yeah.
dude.
The physics are real. Is what
Oh.
I'm saying. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's what they're
Pixels.
saying.
Oh yeah, I think I see.
But like, did you see when it rained? It
Yeah.
like filled in certain parts, and other parts didn't fill the same way. Let me go back.
Interesting.
yeah, that
Back,
seems
let me
really
go
cool.
back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that one. I don't know. It's kind of hard to.
See the way it's not going into here unless this is filling.
Yeah,
and
it's like
overfilling
pixel
in there.
physics.
And he's all about control when it comes to this type of stuff. He's talking about all the things that the game does technically with the world itself. You know.
Yeah, but like that game didn't run well on console, at least Control, and so I feel like you got to kind of take away from it because of that. I would probably, if I had to pick, I'd probably give it to Death Stranding as far as technology. I feel like
Oh, look at that! Sorry,
that
guys.
does look beautiful
It
for
looks
Noita.
beautiful, and like, look, it's an electrical thing, and then it
Oh,
like
oh,
disperses
shit.
throughout all of the water.
Yo,
Well, that
Noita
is
might be
rad.
the one.
I did not expect this to grab my attention the way it's
Yeah, I
doing
know.
right
This is
now.
really cool.
Yeah, that looks
But
really
this is
dope.
the type of thing that won't win just because I don't think enough people know.
Enough people
Well,
know
yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
But that,
Also,
I mean,
like the character is just like a hood. It looks like there's no like face or.
I know.
I feel like it comes down also to like who's judging.
So for best technology, what makes you think Death Stranding stands out?
Just because I feel like that game, as far as the mechanics that are at play in Death Stranding, I feel like they're so different, but at the same time interesting and I think impressive as far as like the balance systems, how that mixes with like the cargo balancing and all that stuff. Like, you know, there's a mission in there where you have to deliver a pizza, which means you have to figure out how to stack the pizza with all the packages you're carrying so that it doesn't go sideways. And like everything about how that game kind of moves physically, I think is really cool and really impressive and really like, I mean, it's the game's polished and runs super well. And so for me, I'd give it to it, though I respect what Control's doing. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think has a big chance because it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right? So it's a pretty solid game. Apex Legends, I think is in here because of the ping system and how that's a really cool technology. So I would also like any of these games winning, I would be down with because I think all these games do dope things with their technology. But Death Stranding is the one where I don't know. I look at that and it hits me different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. There's something about the way that like how tightly designed Death Stranding is that reminds me so much of Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, Phantom Pains?
Phantom Pain. Yeah.
Where it's like Phantom Pain, obviously that was a shooter, but like that was the tightest like that kind of shooter, you know, that I had ever played. Where this is like, it sounds silly, but like the delivery running around aspect is so well made that it's like it's insane. Yeah, I think
Best visual art: Control, Death Stranding, Sekiro, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Disco Elysium.
It'll be Control. It's got to be Control. I think it's got to be Control.
I mean, I think it's Control or Death Stranding. Like
Yeah,
Death Stranding
Death
just has the pedigree of
Yeah.
just so many of these things. You said it earlier, but the polish.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you can have cool art style, you can have cool technology, you can have all this stuff, but like when you have all that with polish, that goes a very long way.
Yeah, and Death Stranding like has the character design. It has the just the environments of Death Stranding, like the greenness and like the I want to call them wildlands, but they're not wildlands, but like the
Just like the vistas.
yeah, the vistas, or even like when you go into like different sorts of areas
Biomes.
environmentally, like looks super cool. It's super different. It stands out. And the cutscenes are just beautiful in Death Stranding. So if Death Stranding won it, I wouldn't be mad by any means. Control is my pick just because that game, and I guess this is visual art specifically, because I was going to talk about how like audio visual wise, right? When you hear like the bodies floating in the air and the hiss and all that stuff, it hits you a certain way. That kind of, it gave me chills when I was first playing the game. But yeah, just the visual alone of like the bodies in the air, the upside down triangles, and how that like how that stuff kind of points to like the supernatural, how clean everything looks in that game. I think that game deserves a nod in this category. But yeah, Death Stranding is a strong one.
Best VR/AR game: Vader Immortal, Blood and Truth, Asgard's Wrath, Boneworks, and Pistol Whip.
I didn't realize Pistol Whip came out. I think that was at the Upload VR E3 showcase. I think, and I remember seeing it. It was, maybe I'm thinking of a game with a different name, but I remember seeing a game called Pistol Whip and it looked cool.
Can you pull up Pistol Whip, Kev?
Yeah, pull up Pistol Whip because it might be the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
it's this.
I think this is the one.
Is he shooting a? Oh, I see.
Huh.
I wonder, is this on rails? On whales. Death Stranding.
Yeah.
This looks interesting.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, this is the one. Okay, maybe the gameplay didn't look as cool as
Oh,
I thought
shit.
the trailer did.
wait, this is kind of cool though.
Yeah,
this looks
this is dope.
Well, the way they
It's
shot
like
this is
super
really
hot
cool.
on rails.
Yeah.
Without the.
It's like it's a
Time
super
gimmicks.
fast on-rail shooter.
Oh wow, it's just like super hot.
Yeah, it's
When
pretty cool.
When did this come out,
Oh
Kevin?
shit, did I not have that on?
Oh, it's on Oculus.
There you go.
I don't have Oculus.
You want to borrow one? We got one in the office.
Boneworks, the
Ooh.
game by Stress Level Zero. That's our boy Brendan Latch, Freddie Wong's former partner from back in the day.
Huh.
He split off and started doing VR stuff.
Interesting.
That's cool to see
What
that
was the game called?
get nominated.
Bone Lash?
Boneworks.
Boneworks is their game, yeah. But for the winner here,
I don't know, man.
I feel like everyone that has done Vader Immortal loves it,
Yeah.
but
I can't
Blood
believe
and
I haven't
Truth?
done it.
Isn't Vader Immortal just like a chapter 1 though, or is it
No, they
is the
did
full
3.
game out?
They did 3 of them.
It
It's
is 3
episodic.
chapters. Oh,
They're
okay.
all out, yeah.
And they're all out.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's
Damn,
see.
dude, this Boneworks looks.
Yeah, Boneworks
Oh,
is
shoot.
crazy, man.
What's this on, Kevin?
You know, that's a great question.
I don't think it's on.
I
haven't
think
seen it
it's on all
PSVR.
the PC ones.
Okay. See, I just have PSVR, and so that's why I'm looking
Yeah,
at Blood and
it's
Truth. Like
not
Blood and Truth
PSVR.
is my pick, but that's because I've only played Blood and
Yeah.
Truth on this list.
Everyone that I've heard talk about Vader Immortal says it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely want to try that one.
Damn, this shit
Holy
looks
cow!
crazy.
Yeah, this looks crazy.
Fuck, we might have to get this in a little bit, you know? Give it a little try.
Game of the year: Death Stranding, Control, Sekiro, Untitled Goose Game, Outer Wilds.
Am I missing out on Untitled Goose Game?
I don't think so, man.
I love it.
Because I didn't play it because it
love
just didn't
it's
look
not-
like my thing.
It's not game of the year, but like I was watching, we played it on the Extra Life stream.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching someone play it, and it was just frustrating because whoever it was, dumb. You know what I mean? It was obvious what you had to do. They stopped playing it. I was like, well, let me see this bad boy over here, and then I played it for the rest of the stream.
It does not surprise me at
great.
all that you love that game, Kev. It just makes like you
I
and the
love
goose.
I love puzzle games, and that's what that game is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how do you figure out? I make these people do these things and move to the next area. That's all I'm about.
I didn't vibe with it. I played the first level of it, and I was just like, this is weirdly obtuse feeling.
I'm sorry. In the chat, people were like, "Oh, it was Nick playing. Nick's the dumb dumb." Sorry about that. Go ahead.
But yeah, looking at this, I don't know, man.
yeah, it's one of those things where
another
I'm
one of those
tired.
splits.
I'm done guessing Game of the Year because everybody's giving it to a different
Everyone has
person,
a different
game.
choice,
And
so-
so, hey,
And yeah, so honorable mentions here: Disco Elysium, Outer Worlds, Jedi Fallen Order, Apex Legends. Man, what a year!
dude, I'm excited to talk about it on Gamescast.
Yeah.
because I got opinions on 2019 in video games, good opinions. As far as I think it's been a great year. That's what I'm saying. So,
Respawn,
like,
man, they're just like coming through clutch.
oh my god, if there was a Developer of the Year award,
Yeah,
it'd be Respawn.
totally. Absolutely. All right, there you go. Those are the GDC 2020 award nominees. Next news story. There is a new Lord of the Ring game that got confirmed.
All
Lord of the
right.
Rings Golem confirmed for PS Gollum.
No,
Colin,
just, I thought it was gonna be another one of those.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah,
Confirmed
yeah.
for
Shadow
PS5 and Xbox Series X. Daedalic Entertainment has reaffirmed that its action-adventure game, The Lord of the Rings Gollum, will be coming to next-gen consoles, including PS5 and Xbox Series X, alongside PC in 2021. When do you think Xbox is going to announce the Series S or whatever, so we can stop referring to the next one as Series X
Series
and
X?
start calling it Xbox?
See, me and Greg have talked about this week. That I think they will launch with two consoles.
Yeah.
Xbox. I think they'll do a higher priced one and a lower priced one. One that'll cost more than the PS5 and one that'll cost less than the PS5.
And you got to
Kinda strangle
imagine
it that way.
it's called Series S, right?
Yeah, Series S. Yeah. And that's where I'm at. And so E3 is probably my guess.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that would make sense.
I'm like
You
70%
don't think
that it's a
I
thing.
just feel like it'd be smarter to launch with one SKU. Otherwise, you're dividing your things and.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
man. I think give them options.
That's where I'm
Especially with Game Pass and xCloud and all that stuff coming up.
because I think if you release two consoles that way, it's like it's an all out attack on PS5.
Especially when like the Series X, there's no way that that's affordable. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is what the studio told Edge magazine for its February 2020 issue, which has a number of interviews with key developers that reveal the first new details about the game since its announcement back in March 2019. For starters, they've set out to invent their own version of the main character Gollum rather than follow the look given to him in the Peter Jackson movies. Tolkien didn't give a size reference for Gollum to begin with, so in the first illustrations, he's gigantic. He's like a monster emerging from the swamp. They haven't revealed what he will look like yet in the game. There's a whole bunch more news. If you want more information on this, you can go check out the article on IGN.com by Chris Priestman.
Awesome. What's with all these PS5 games that, like, so before this we had Godfall, I think it was, right? Which is I think this makes this like the second confirmed, officially confirmed, like this is coming to PlayStation 5.
Ubisoft kind of did it's kind of like the chicken before the egg in some situations where it's like our new lineup's going to be coming to PS5, but we don't know what the games are. So so official titles.
I feel like PlayStation. I feel like Sony's got to announce some games soon for PS5 because so far you have this Lord of the Rings Gollum, which I'm sure will be fine, even though I don't know if I want to play a game about Gollum. You have this and you have Godfall, which also seems like it's going to be fine. But
Godfall looks pretty rad.
Yeah, I mean,
and that one is exclusive.
Is it? It's like they only announced
so
it
far. It looks like it's going to be exclusive.
Yeah, but then you have on the Xbox side, we know we're getting Halo Infinite, and we know we're getting Hellblade 2, which are two bangers.
But we don't know we're getting Well, we know we're eventually going to get it, but like we don't
know when we're gonna get
when we're getting that. But again, Halo Infinite is enough for a launch.
Yeah,
kind of. At least it used.
And
to
even
be.
like this, I don't know if have they said this is launch?
No, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
no,
I'm just talking about like full library so far.
Yeah,
like.
So, but I mean, you got to imagine that's what February's for, right?
Yeah. Do you think Sony is fine with these companies coming out and saying that they're putting out games?
This always happens every generation. Like there has to be the kind of like first rumblings, and I feel like this is the weirdest new gen because this is the first time that. Before we like really get the blowout of the console, we know the names. We kind of know that it's coming. Like the way that Sony announced the PS5 was with just a random Euro Gamer article, right? It was just like, oh hey, it's a thing, it's happening. It's the PlayStation
Wired
5.
Article,
yeah, Wired. It's like, okay, whoa,
yeah,
it's happening. I guess
I wonder if PlayStation, after like maybe the last Wired article, sent out like a memo to developers saying like, hey, like. It's open now. You guys can say that you're putting out PS5 games if you want, or if it's a thing where Sony is like, "Hey, can you guys like calm down a little bit? We want to kind of," because I just find it weird that these are the first PlayStation 5 games being announced.
It'd be interesting to go back and look at the other generations and kind of see what they are, because I feel like this always happens where it's not the most exciting games. Like I remember, and this is granted dating me and really old, but like the first PSP game we ever saw was Death Jr.
Oh. Wow, was that the first one?
Yeah, that was the first gameplay we ever saw of a PSP game was Death Jr.
I remember watching a trailer for Death Jr.
And it had the same sample from Bitch Please 2.
Yes, it did.
There we go. Check out the trailer.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, there you go. If you like nerd shit, that should be exciting news for you. If you like other type of nerd shit, this might be exciting news for me. New Final Fantasy XV MMORPG for mobile is coming. I got this article over from Brian Ashcraft at Kotaku. Square Enix is teaming up with South Korean developer JSC Games and Chinese game maker Gaia Mobile to develop a Final Fantasy XV massively multiplayer online role-playing game for mobile, tentatively titled Final Fantasy XV Mobile. The game has been in the works for a few years. It's being developed with Unreal Engine 4 and will be published by Shanghai Oriental Pearl Group. Final Fantasy XV is no stranger to mobile. Back in 2017, Square released a generically bad Final Fantasy XV-ish mobile game called A New Empire, and then the following year they did Final Fantasy XV Pocket Edition, which was pretty dope. According to Kilter, the upcoming game is set in a parallel Final Fantasy XV world that takes place right after Noctis begins his journey. The mobile game will feature new full-scale regions to explore. The developer says they hope to bring the original console experience's flashy action and graphics to mobile with touch-based gameplay.
Exciting.
I guess this is weird, right? This is kind of doubling down in an area that I feel like the traditional core gamer doesn't partake in two fronts. The MMORPG side and the mobile game side, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Final Fantasy XIV Online, huge hit. Mobile games, huge hits. You combine those, that sounds like it could be a great idea. Why not just put Final Fantasy XIV on mobile?
Yeah, I don't. That's a good point. I think that's a very good point because Final Fantasy XIV is super successful right now.
Yeah.
And that was gonna be my next question is like, at what point do they just run out of things to do and they're just like, all right, so we have a mobile game, we have
Square never will, man.
Yeah, we
They'll
have
find a
Final
way.
Fantasy VII coming out as a mainline game. We have like all these different things.
This is the
I guess
company
we'll just
that put out a
put this
game
out.
called Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
And we're gonna get a Final Fantasy
13th
VII remake too.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta love it, man.
Yeah.
So Frankfurter writes in and says, "Good morning, Blessing and Tim. A new mobile Final Fantasy 15 game is in the works and almost ready to be shown off. But my main questions on this subject is why? Why are we getting another Final Fantasy 15 mobile game? Why is it so late compared to when the original game was released? Why is it not going to be a global release like the rest of the 15 games were? I feel that being so close to Final Fantasy VII Remake may help in the push of, do you want more Final Fantasy? Here's this. But why make a mobile game of this when you can make it another add-on to an already amazing game that you currently own? I'm confused to say the least, but do you have any inkling as to why Square Enix would do this? Thanks for all you do."
So you played a lot of Final Fantasy 15.
I beat 15, yeah.
Did you play all the DLC?
I
that
did
came
not.
after
I
it?
gave some of them a shot, and then at some point
Because I know they
gave up
just
on it.
kept releasing until a certain point where
and they
just
were
like,
good. They were
didn't
really good.
But didn't they cancel it at a certain point?
Yeah, well, at some point it's just they kind of like just kept going with it and kept announcing more and more and more, and then at some point they just kind of stopped. So like they did the original promise of what they were going to add, but then they kept adding more, and then eventually they canceled it off. But my problem with the DLC was a lot of that should have been in the main game story wise.
Yeah.
And I feel like the original vanilla game was disjointed to say the least. And had it had the DLC in it, I think it could have been a much stronger game. And I think that people would look back at Final Fantasy 15 with a lot more reverence. But that's not the case of how things went down. But to answer Frankfurter's question here, it's like Final Fantasy 15 was very, very, very popular and continues to sell well. So there is a market for that. And I think that this is Square kind of like doubling down on markets that they know that they have. And right now they have some hits going on in the mobile side of things. They know their online infrastructure works for games. Having said that, though, Square doesn't have the best track record when it comes to success stories on mobile games. Like they kind of do a shotgun approach. I'm hoping that this is a better example of them learning from their mistakes of the past decade. But we'll see.
Yeah. This very much seems like a calculated thing to me of like, all right, we know this many people liked Final Fantasy 15. We know this many people like played the add-on content that came afterward and like this like post 15 support, I guess. We know this many people play Final Fantasy games on mobile, and we know our MMO does this well. And so like if we running the numbers, we can probably guess that at a minimum we'll get this much out of a mobile game.
Absolutely. And on
they're
top
probably
of
just
that,
like, yeah, let's just put it
when
out.
you look at the amount of studios named there and developers and partnerships and all this stuff, it's like you can tell this isn't a like internal priority. They're just like, hey, if we hire these guys, partner with these guys, we'll make money.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next news story. This is a small one. But
Very small
Super
one.
Smash Bros. Ultimate 6.1.1 patch introduces one tiny change. They received a minor update today, and it's natural to wonder when you see the game update what's been added. 6.1.1 for the hit Switch fighter is such a small change, though, that most players will not notice it. It implements support for the Dark Samus and Richter amiibo, both of which release on January 17th. The update will allow you to use both amiibo in-game, leveling them up and fighting against them as you would with any other amiibo fighter. The two amiibos coming out January 17th. The majority of Smash Brothers characters now have amiibo, with the exception of Joker, Hero, Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, and the unannounced fifth fighter. We got to imagine at some point we're gonna get those
Banjo-Kazooie amiibo. Well,
It's happening, man.
I still haven't purchased an amiibo.
And you think Banjo will be it?
I think. At this point, I should have purchased a Snake amiibo because I love Metal Gear Solid, and a Link amiibo. Like there are so many options available to me for video game characters that I like. Banjo-Kazooie might be the one that pushes me over the edge.
Once you pop, you can't stop though, man. You gotta be careful.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I don't have space for like
no
just
one
a
does.
bunch of amiibos.
Unless you're Pear.
Yeah, unless you're Pear Schneider.
Yeah. But anyway, this is kind of a non-story, but the reason that I thought it was important is that I feel like Smash Brothers is in need of better patches than this right now. There are,
Really?
there's a lot of issues when it comes to the meta game going on, and a lot of issues in terms of balancing the characters,
Really?
especially with the addition of the DLC. And for them to not do anything that affects balance in this, I feel like is not a good sign.
Interesting.
And whatever changes need to happen, it is just 6.1.1, and we know we're going to get a bigger update with the next character announcement. But I do wish that we were getting a bit more here, especially with the Spirit stuff. Like the way they're doing these events, man, It could have been so good, Blessing. It could have been so good, and it's just so okay.
Yeah, I should be playing way more Smash.
Mm-hmm.
When Smash Ultimate came out, because I'm like you, Smash is one of my favorite games ever.
Hell yeah.
When Smash Ultimate came out, I probably played 100 hours, maybe 8. I'm gonna say 80 hours to be safe. I played probably 80 hours within that first month and a half, and I just haven't really gone back since. Like when Joker came out, I went back and played a little bit because I love Joker from Persona 5. When Banjo came out, I went back and played a little bit. When Terry Bogard came out, I went back and I actually really liked Terry Bogard. I think his character controls very well and he's super fun to play as. But I've just not really like gotten super hooked, since its launch.
Yeah. joEvil writes in and says, so what are your final Pokemon Direct thoughts? Any Smash news tomorrow?
Maybe. You think the fifth character could be a Pokemon character?
Dude, it could very well be a Sword and Shield rep. I don't think it's going to be because, if we learn one thing with Smash Brothers is there is no pattern. Don't look for patterns. The rules are all out the window when it comes to Ultimate. But looking at the DLC characters that they've announced in Challenger Pack 1, all of them have been third party.
Yeah.
Right? We have Joker, we had Hero, Terry, and Banjo. You got to imagine for the fifth one, it's going to be
third party
as well. I still got my money on Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. But we'll see. But yeah, I hope we don't see the Smash logo tomorrow in the Direct.
I feel like there's a strong chance for some reason because February is the cutoff, right?
It is, but it's a Pokemon Direct. I don't know, like they have time to do a Nintendo Direct. They're gonna have to do a Nintendo Direct. Animal Crossing is not far away.
Yep.
They need to start announcing some more games.
And there's not like a big game for this year, right?
There's not a big game for any month of this year right now. Like Nintendo hasn't talked about its lineup.
No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
The biggest game.
The biggest game
of
all
this
time.
Year.
Anyway, there you go. Speaking of the Nintendo Direct, what are your final kind of predictions there?
So I don't know if you listened
Pokemon
yesterday, but because I think yesterday you were saying that there could be a chance of like a Sinnoh remake or some sort of Pokemon game announced. I don't think we'll see any sort of major Pokemon game announcement. I think it'll be DLC updates for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think we'll see Pokemon added back.
Yep.
Because they probably, not even probably, they 100% have seen the backlash they've gotten about the decks. And so I assume they'll be adding in more Pokemon. I assume that we'll get like more. I don't know how all the Gigantamax stuff works because I kind of stayed away from that side of the game.
The raid stuff?
Yeah, the raid stuff. I just didn't really care. And so I imagine they'll probably add more of that stuff.
Yep. I think you're right. I think that's a foregone conclusion. We're going to get some Pokemon added back. We're going to get some type of DLC situation going. And we're going to get more raid battles and things like that. 20 minutes is a long time to talk about that, though.
Yeah.
And it's Nintendo. And it's Japanese Nintendo.
That's the thing is yesterday I think I was also thinking that like, okay, yeah, we might see some Pokemon Sleep stuff in here. But since this is a Direct, if you remember, like the last Pokemon presentation was not connected to Nintendo.
It wasn't
at
a Direct. That was
yeah,
just
it wasn't
Pokemon
a Direct. It was just a
being
Pokemon
weird.
presentation.
Was it their press or their?
What an amazing show, though.
Right, dude. I've never laughed so hard at a live presentation.
It was so early.
Some of the best YouTube content we've ever made is our reactions to that.
I want to go back and watch it again because
it's so funny.
It was very, very entertaining.
Oh my god! Remember the guy that like bragged about his promotion?
Remember when they came out and advertised Godzilla? I think
yeah.
Was it Godzilla?
Yeah.
It was Godzilla.
For no reason, like
Oh,
there's no
man.
connection whatsoever.
So
The
good.
Godzilla movie's about to come out.
And I guess the connection was Gigantamaxing,
Yeah.
but we didn't know that. We didn't know that. At
We
the
didn't
time.
know that at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pokemon Sleep, there's a chance. I think it's a little slim.
Yeah.
Pokemon Home, some type of update on all that stuff. I do think that we might get some updates on things that have been previously announced, like the Detective Pikachu situations with the games. But I think that with 20 minutes, and we're Sword and Shield came out in November.
Yeah.
We're now long enough away that like we're through the holidays. I think it's too early to announce Ultra Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Right? But we're now at a point where Pokemon it's in a similar situation to Mario. Back in the day, there was just 2D Mario. That was it. Then they added 3D Mario. Then they added the 3D World style Mario. And now there's Mario Maker as well, but I'll count that as even as a spin-off.
Yeah.
We have 3 separate styles of Mario games. So at any given point, we can get a new Super Mario Brothers sequel, a Mario 3D World sequel, and a Mario Odyssey sequel.
Yeah.
Right? And those would be totally different games. Pokemon's in a similar place where we have the core Pokemon game, we have remakes, and we have the Let's Go series.
See, I would think the way they think I would probably put Let's Go and remakes in the same category as
don't
far
think
as
so,
like
man.
really.
Yeah, because they're just a
different
different.
play styles,
It's a
too.
different style, right? Like traditionally, and again, throw tradition out the window. There used to be a third game every gen, and then they're like, "Fuck it, Black and White too." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ultra Sun and Moon and all that stuff.
See, my thing is development time and like how realistic is it to expect a Pokemon game every year that's like a main, or not even mainline, but like
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I think the next one has to be Let's Go. And I was trying to think about it.
Let's Go Togepi. Yes,
It's fucking
yes,
Togepi,
it's, let's
baby.
Go. It's like Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go Meryl.
Meryl?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But my thing is, I don't think we see that this year. I think we see that next year. Like
Yeah.
I think this year, if we get anything, it might be what was it called Pokken, or like we might get like
Pokken 2
some
or something.
some sort of like spinoff this
Yeah.
year, or like if God shines down on me, Pokemon Puzzle League 2.
Woo! Let's go,
That would
baby.
be awesome. Or like a Pokemon Snap or whatever.
Yeah,
to
then
make
Joe
Joey happy.
would be stoked. I don't know, man. I feel like with the install base of the Switch, with the amount that Pokemon sells as a franchise, and the fact that they now know that if they put out a Let's Go game, they're going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come sooner than later. And those games, there's no way that their development timeline and budget is that high. They already have it there. They have the tile sets. They know what they're doing. And the fact that it is just taking the actual level like layout from the original
Yeah.
Johto, just putting it in, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I
And that's what
I
I'm
think we're going to see it, man.
I think like a 3-year cycle of, last 2019 mainline Pokemon game, 2020 maybe a spinoff or something, 2021 Let's Go, 2022 another new Pokemon like mainline Pokemon Sword 2, Shield 2, whatever it may be, right? Or maybe a remake, I don't know. But like some sort of like 3-year cycle where they're just like switching off, I think could work beautifully. Depending on, I don't know how long it takes for a mainline Pokemon game to get made, because I can't remember when the last Pokemon game before this one came out.
Sun and Moon
Sun and
was
Moon.
like 2016.
Was that 2016? Yeah,
think so.
that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it was the same year as Overwatch.
Yeah.
And so 2016. So I guess 3 years.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Exciting times. We'll see tomorrow. Final news story of the day. This comes from over at GameSpot. James O'Connor. Devil May Cry 3 on Switch will feature a little something extra. Capcom teases. Devil May Cry 3 is releasing for Switch on February 20th as a digital release. Devil May Cry 3. What a damn game.
I never played it.
Woo-wee.
Good?
It's the best Devil May Cry game, easily. It is based on the HD upgraded version of the special edition originally released for Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, and PS4. It's the third Devil May Cry game to release on Switch. It's also the most beloved of the original trilogy, and because of this, Capcom has promised that it'll feature a little something extra. In a video posted on Twitter, Capcom producer Matt Walker, our boy, says that the team is feeling a little motivated by the fact that the game is so beloved, and as such, they are going to add a little something extra. How many times am I going to say a little something extra? You know what I mean?
And hope a few
And
extra
every
times.
single time it's in quotes here to this version of the game. More information will be unveiled through the Devil May Cry Twitter account on January 16th, January 30th, and February 13th. This suggests that there will be at least 3 changes made to the game. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Do you think this leads to, because I don't think we'll get Devil May Cry 5 on Switch, because that feels like just a way, that's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But do you think we get some sort of exclusive Devil May Cry title for Switch?
No.
No?
I think this is just them like porting because they can port. You know, I think that Devil May Cry is going to continue. It's sold well enough with Devil May Cry 5. I think it's going to continue to be a, whatever you want to call the big brother consoles.
Yeah.
For next gen. Oh man, but man, a Devil May Cry potentially on Switch is so far away.
Oh, man. You
If
got
I-
me. You got me. Dang it.
If I wanted to know what games are coming to Mom and Gromp shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
That's goddamn right. All right, let's check it out. Invert coming to Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's all caps. It's IN-vert. Can you
Yeah.
look that up, Kev? I wonder if it has to do with inline skating.
I doubt it.
Of the aggressive.
Yeah, I was
variety.
thinking a skate game also.
Regions of Ruin on Xbox One. Dragon Sinker, Descendants of Legend on Xbox One. Animal Friends, the Joey Noel game on Xbox One. Refuge on PC and Tall Shard on PC. You got that invert? Xbox One.
Yeah, not yet. Give me
New
one
dates
more
for you,
second.
Dodge Roll. The developers behind Enter the Gungeon and Exit the Gungeon have announced on Twitter that Enter the Gungeon has surpassed 3 million copies sold, and they're excited to release House of the Gun Dead to arcades and Exit the Gungeon on PC and consoles early this year. House of the Gun Dead to arcades? They're making an arcade game?
Was House of the Gun Dead? Was that already a thing, or is that a new thing? That name sounds awesome.
Yeah, can you also look up House of the
Because
Gun Dead?
Exit the Gungeon, I think, was already a thing.
Yo,
I think Exit the Gungeon was the mobile game, I think.
And yeah, those are games. Okay, cool. Yeah, invert.
This is invert? Oh, this looks
not great.
Yeah, this.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh man.
I'm like skipping around, and what is happening? Are you
Okay,
There we go.
here we go. Oh, this looks like
Meat Boy.
Super Meat Boy. Yeah.
with somehow like worse
Video
graphics.
Jesus.
This almost reminds me. See, I don't know what's happening here. Oh, die however many
it's-
times. It's like a trophy guide.
Oh, is it?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what kind of game is this? It looks like
Are
a
there like
VVV.
actual
VVV.
levels?
Can you look up House of the Gun Dead?
Yeah. Give me a second. All right.
And then War Group's free Double Trouble DLC is coming to Switch, Xbox One, and PC on February 6th, with the PS4 version to follow later. In addition to a new co-op story campaign and units, the update will also add competitive quick play maps and more mission editor tools.
Awesome.
While Kev looks up House of the Gun Dead, I want to tell you about our sponsor. Here we go, baby. Enter the Gungeon, House of the Gun Dead.
Let's see
This
here.
is something I don't think anyone saw coming. LOTR Games have now gone ahead and made a
Just
new
skip
game
forward.
under
Yeah.
the entry in
So
They actually did it, dude.
That looks really cool.
That looks awesome.
This is beautiful.
This is a
good-looking
great
box.
idea. Wow.
that looks awesome.
Hey,
Oh,
for the
man.
new
Do you-
studio, could we for sure get one of these? Like any sort of light box game, like gun game. They don't got the clicky guns though, and that's kind of a problem.
I don't know what you said, Kevin. I'm gonna be honest.
This is great. You should go check this out.
clicky
Very
guns?
cool stuff. Enter the
what
Gun
now?
Dead.
The clicky guns, the ones that like click back. when
Oh,
you shoot.
okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's going
What the hell is this?
All right. Anyways,
yeah.
let's do some mail here. Reader mail 2038 Pokemon CEO writes in, just like you can at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames if you are a bronze member or above. He says, in November 2018, Sony announced they would not be at E3. We're now in January with no confirmation of attendance. Is it safe to say Sony will be at E3 this year?
I think so.
I think it is safe to say that they will.
Yeah. Like
I mean, this is a big year for them, right? Like
at
this
the at the very least, if they're not at E3, they'll activate during E3.
Yeah. Like
Like they'll have some
Xbox
sort of.
did.
Yeah. Well, Xbox weren't Xbox at E3.
Technically, they weren't. They were
Really?
across the street.
Wait, they didn't have the
Interesting.
same booth?
Mm-mm.
Damn, I wonder what did the floor look like?
It was empty.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it was a weird year last year.
Yeah.
But Xbox had its own. So where Xbox did the press conference at the Microsoft Theater, I think it's called, used to be the Nokia Theater at LA Live. Where they did their press conference, that's where they had all of their games, and they invited people to come play there. So they had a bunch of setups and they had everything there. So they weren't at E3, but they were at E3. You know,
Interesting.
I can see Sony doing that, but also Sony can kind of just not be a part of it if they wanted to and like go somewhere else. I think they will be though.
But
Yeah.
they're gonna show off their new console, right? Like,
Yeah, they want
you
people to get
gotta
their hands on
imagine,
it.
like,
Yeah, but you got to imagine that's February though.
Do you think so? Me and Greg have been talking about
that
this
seems so soon.
because, like, if you think back to the February 2013 for the
PlayStation
PS4
meeting.
yeah, like all the stuff they talked about at that event, at this point for PS5, they've revealed through Wired articles. You know,
That's true, but not games and not what the box looked like and not the
Yeah.
controller officially. There's a lot of stuff we know that's not official. It's just kind of like leaked stuff, right? They're doing it. Like it's just a matter of when, and I think it's going to be February. Right before the break, Greg and I looked back on when he got his email invitation to New York for that event, and I feel like it was around January 13th.
huh? So we got 5 days.
Yeah, we got 5 days, man, and that
We'll
could
see.
happen if they even stick to that plan. But you got to imagine they want to start talking about it before major releases start coming out. Everyone in the games industry understands what this year is. They
Yeah.
understand that once March starts happening, it ain't gonna stop. The games march on, baby, all throughout the year. Final Fantasy VII Remake, March 3rd, and then just boom, 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 boom. So it's like they don't they're gonna want to make announcements when people aren't distracted by playing games.
That makes sense.
You know,
That makes sense. I'm not 100% convinced, but I mean, any way they do it, I'm not surprised because so far they've been pretty unconventional. But yeah, if they throw an event in February, I think it could make sense for them to do that. If they wait until, because Xbox didn't do it until May last time, right? It was like right before E3 where they revealed the Xbox One and all that stuff. I don't know, man. So far, PlayStation's just been Sony's been
bizarre.
Bizarre leading up to this. That I wouldn't be surprised if, like, even if they do the February event, but just push it to April.
Yeah,
I think that could make sense. Because, like, at this point, it feels like we're so early and we know so much already that they could get away with doing something closer to E3 to, like, get that hype ramping up, and then at E3 make the big splash of here's the price, I was gonna say what the controller looks like, but we pretty much.
But we don't know. They haven't shown us.
They haven't shown us,
Which is a big
But
difference.
if it looks just like the PS4 controller, how much of a reveal?
I mean, what they've shown, it looks different.
I mean, it has like
It looks beefier. It looks
A little bit, yeah.
It looks a little bit more like an Xbox controller in terms of sheer girth. You know?
Yeah,
yeah.
that good girth.
Yeah.
I'm
Your
curious.
theory about April, I buy it. That kind of does make sense to me. I just think that if I were to bet, I think it's going to be before March
Interesting.
that we get some type of blowout from
Can we
them.
make this a bet?
Because, yeah, we can. Let's bet right now. Here we go.
Pizza party.
What do you
pizza
want? What are we
party.
betting?
Pizza party?
Well,
No matter what, I win.
I'm down to do a pizza party bet.
all right, cool. Let's do
All
pizza
right.
party.
What-
bet.
so what's the bet? I'm betting. I guess after April or after.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I'm betting before Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out.
Okay, that'll be the divider.
Yeah. So there's a whole
Okay.
month in between. If it happens in March, neither of us win.
Okay. Well, actually, hold on.
No, I like
What-
that.
okay.
I like
okay,
there
that's
has to
fine.
be a middle ground.
That's fine. I'm down with that.
You know, I could definitely see that. I just feel like they had the reason that PlayStation has been so weird and dripping little bits of information in very bizarre ways is because I feel like they were kind of put into an awkward position the last year where they had their games coming out. They had Death Stranding, but they didn't have the, Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man, like the banger going on. And
I mean, they had Last of Us.
but yes, they had
Oh.
that to talk about. But that was the problem is you can only talk about Ghost of Tsushima, Death
Oh,
Stranding,
okay.
yeah, and Last of
Two?
Us,
Yeah.
and there was one other one, but whatever.
Yeah.
So much.
Iron Man
So
VR.
they had that's why they had to kind of back out of E3, and they're like, and they didn't do PSX, and it was just like, yo, we can't keep talking about this stuff, but they had to keep announcing something. So I think that's why they like let more information out than we normally would have got about the PS5. So I think that now that they're back on track, I think we're gonna get some heat.
Interesting.
Let's see. Let's do Jamie S. There are reports that Nintendo may be launching a Switch Pro this year, possibly mid-year. I know a Switch Pro is something you've been predicting for a while now, Tim, and it seems likely to be happening. But I wonder if you think this is the right time. With Series X and PS5 coming this fall, does mid-year or any time this year make sense for a new Switch launch? Will people have the resources or the desire to invest in a new Switch version when the next-gen consoles are so close? And can we expect the Switch Pro to even remotely hold a candle to what the other new consoles will offer from a technical perspective? I love my Switch, but there's no way I would invest in a new one this year with the impending cost of the real next-gen offerings on the horizon. Are these reports fake news? And if not, is Nintendo about to make a big mistake?
I'm not necessarily convinced that a Switch Pro would be this year. I would maybe think next fall if there is a Switch Pro, which you're pro Switch Pro, right?
I am very pro Switch Pro where I want one, and also it's going to happen. I also don't think it's this year.
Yeah.
If it were to happen, I don't think it'll be fall next year. I think it'll be
Spring next year?
spring next year.
I can see that also.
At some point. I think that these news reports are fake news. I think that everyone talking about this is just like gleaming off of the same headlines that weren't really substantial to begin with. I wouldn't be surprised if one came out this year, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to rival the next-gen consoles at all. I also don't think Nintendo gives a shit. They've never given a shit in the past. They could put it out the same day as the PS5 or Xbox, and they would be like, I don't care.
Man. That would be the thing that would make me worry because, obviously, Nintendo is an entirely different type of company than these other companies, and so they probably could get away with it in some sense. But I also think that people have a limited amount of money to spend, and so there's a huge category of video game players that are going to be buying the Xbox Series X or PS5 for sure. And so to put out a Switch Pro this fall, I feel it would just be unnecessary as far as what a headache that could be for them as opposed to just putting out next year.
See, Nintendo does things differently though, because here's the situation that they have going on is all of that is true. But what Nintendo does differently than Xbox or PlayStation is they make products that last forever in the sense of value. They don't
go down
have
in
price
price.
drops. The games do not go down. They put out games. Mario Kart 8 is still selling. 8 Deluxe, right? It's still selling as well as it ever has. A lot of their games are the same way. I feel like at any point they can just put it out and just be like, there's just another option for people to buy. I don't think they're going to do that. I'm just saying if they did, I wouldn't be surprised. They could do it next week. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
I do think that it will probably coincide with Breath of the Wild 2.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
And I think that whenever that is, if that happens to be this fall, I can see it being this fall then, right?
What do you think are the chances of Breath of the Wild 2 being this fall?
I think it's this fall.
Really?
I think
Wait a minute. So you think it's this fall, which would be really amazing.
Yes.
But you also, you don't necessarily think that the Switch Pro is coming out?
Because I think the Breath of the Wild 2 is entirely being planned to be this fall.
But
I
it's
don't
get pushed.
think it's going to hit it. So because of that, I can
buy
see
that
them
then.
because Breath of the Wild 2, let's say it's March next year with the new Switch Pro. That's money, baby.
Dude, that's why I think that's the move because what year are we in? 2021. Yeah, 2021 so far as we know isn't going to be that huge in video games, especially compared to this year.
We just don't know that though. I mean, it's way too early to say that.
This is me comparing 2021 to 2014.
Okay.
Where if you remember 2014, that was the year after the launch of the PS4 and Xbox One, and that year felt empty. Game of the year for that year was Dragon Age Inquisition from IGN and Shadow of Mordor from Giant Bomb, and I forget what other games came out on those two consoles that year. But it was a pretty chill year, and so far we don't really know much of what's coming out in 2021 from PS5 and Xbox Series X, obviously, because nobody's really announced yet. But I can't imagine that developers are going to be ready to really put out some big games. But we don't know.
Dude, I think you're wrong. I think that this is such a different generation, unlike anything we've ever seen before, where we are getting so much information that we've known the gens coming longer than we've ever known a gens is coming before, right? And with that, with everything we were just talking about with Sony about them being kind of quiet the last couple of years in terms of announcements, that doesn't mean that they're not working on stuff. That means that I think that we're going to get PlayStation meeting 2013, right? They announced a knack, our Lord and Savior. That's all great, but they didn't announce Horizon. They didn't announce Spider-Man. They didn't announce all this stuff. I think that maybe not at that meeting, but at E3 this year, we're going to get announcements of Spider-Man. We're going to get announcements of Horizon. We're going to get announcements of so many big titles, new IPs from Sony properties, right?
But for 2021, though?
Yeah. I think that we're going to see a top-loaded of the generation in a way that we've never seen before, where the early years are going to be bangers. Think about it. We're getting Halo Infinite. Day one on Xbox
But
One
that's not unheard of though. We've had Halo as launch titles.
But when?
Wasn't the first Xbox?
The original Xbox in 2001. It's been so long. We've had two gens in between.
When did Halo 5 come out? Was that
Halo 5 was way after the launch.
Okay, interesting.
So that's what I'm saying is launch titles. Breath of the Wild was the first major launch title in generations.
For Nintendo?
For anybody.
I guess you don't count Wii Sports.
But that's different though.
It is different.
That was a killer app and a new way to play. I'm talking about you know what I'm saying, the core games, right? And I when you look at the last couple generations of launch titles, I'm not saying they were bad games. I'm saying it was like it's third parties are really carrying the weight. The Assassin's Creeds, the Call of Duties, right?
Yeah.
We're not getting Horizon or Spider-Man or God of War or Halo or you know what I mean, that type of stuff. And I think we're going to this year. And I think that like the ones that don't make it are going to lead into 2021.
My prediction so far currently is that let's see, Horizon came out in 2017. What year are we in? 2020. I can see possibly a Horizon as, and this is bold, as a launch title.
Me too, man.
And
I
then
think it's possible.
Spider-Man 2 in 2021, and then God of War in 2022. But I can't see like PlayStation putting out like banger after banger in 2021. I can't
Let's
see
see,
it.
dude.
But we'll see.
They've done it before.
And they own
Dude,
they own
they're
Insomniac now, right? And Insomniac, has
Ratchet and
multiple
Clank.
studios, and so we could see a Ratchet and Clank 2, or it probably won't be a 2, probably be a subtitle, but like we could see it. We could see a Ratchet
That'd
and
be
Clank.
so cool. I can't wait for that.
Dude, I hope.
Yeah.
I freaking loved Ratchet and Clank 2015, right, or
So
2016.
good.
I forget.
I feel like it was 15
Is that the one that came out?
because I think that was our first year. It's kind of funny.
I feel like it was
The
after because I
movie?
It was
think
the remake of the original.
yeah, the remake of the
Yeah,
original,
it
the
came
one
out
after
with the movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I lived in Seattle when I played that, so I had to be 16.
It might have been.
Yeah,
Maybe you played it late.
maybe I did play late.
It's time to squad up. You can go to patreon.com patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to squad up. Dosu170 says, me and a buddy started a podcast here called Here We Are SWLA a year ago, and we're looking to expand. We want to start doing some gaming content with Let's Play, streaming, etc. If any of the Kind of Funny best friends would be willing to help us out, you can contact us on Facebook through the Here We Are SWLA page. Thanks in advance. Go support.
Yeah.
Check them out. Then one of them rotating segments that I wanted to add today is a new thing called Kevin's Memory Card. Before we started the show, Kevin was like, hey, what was that one game that I always wanted to play that I never played? And I immediately knew the answer. Kinetica on the PlayStation 2.
Talked about it for years.
Kev, can you bring this up?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Kinetica.
There's a link on the...
What
I
is what
see
is
it, I see
Kinetica?
So Kinetica was an OG PS2 game. It was so old on PS2 that it was actually one of the CD games with the blue bottoms.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Whoa!
That was loud.
Down max, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it says sound max, and the sound is really maxed. What games did they own that had that? Because I remember games that having like the dark, like the.
It was a lot of the early PS2
Did
games.
Oni have that? Because I had
Yes.
Oni. Okay.
If I remember correctly, it did.
Gonna jump forward or?
Yeah, go to some gameplay because you said you didn't remember the gameplay. This came out October 14, 2001, one of Sony Santa Monica's first games.
Oh wow.
And I was all about this. It's a racing game where you're a person with wearing this little like Iron Man suit that has wheels on it.
Huh.
But
And,
it's
like,
like
you
a
can- you
really,
can do-
really sexy suit, right?
You can do tricks and stuff. Yeah, you see that little like thong butt stuff?
Yeah, it's like
Very,
the
very
Ned
cool.
Flanders suit.
That actually looks pretty cool.
Designed by
Jeez.
David Jaffe.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know this reminds me, like you saying it's Sony Santa Monica is one of their first games. That reminds me of a game I used to love on N64. I believe it was Sucker Punch's first game. Rocket Robot on Wheels. Yes,
I
dude.
love that too.
I used
man.
to spend all my time.
Kev,
in the
I
first
just sent you
level of that.
another link, or it's in the doc underneath it.
But I used to make roller coasters in that game.
Yeah, I love it,
in
man.
in that first level, just nonstop, and I never got super far in that game because of that. Kinetica looks
That
dope,
was
though.
Sucker Punch's first game.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's the launch trailer. For
Yeah, so
Kinetica?
apparently it's a PS2 classic.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it looks a lot better.
Huh. This might be. I might have to play this. This might have to be like a PS I Love You XO.
Dude, it's fun.
There's so many games that we're gonna be playing on that. Like the fact
Dude.
that we're playing Peace Walker right now.
Yeah, we were
It's
playing.
just
Me and you were
crazy.
playing PS Walker last night.
Oh shit!
what's-
The like tires float.
This
Like,
looks
they're not
awesome.
holding it?
Yeah, Rocket Robot on Wheels, 1999, their first game, right
Wow.
before Sly Cooper, or a couple years before Sly Cooper.
Tim, I want to go play this.
You can, man. It's a PS2 classic. Get after
Dude.
it. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of You're Wrong right now. Oh Jesus.
You got a
Oh
lot
no!
wrong?
Did we mess up?
Yeah, there's a lot more than there usually is. A lot of
Editorializing?
Yeah. Belinda says it is Mutazi One, not.
It was rep by Pop Agenda, and she.
Got it.
Yeah.
It. There we go.
It's her obligation.
I was right that Outer Worlds and Wilds were never in the same category so
No
far
way.
from C and on. Groovy Moose says Tim said Godfall will be a PS5 exclusive. The official website for the game listed as releasing on the Epic Game Store as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean.
Console exclusive.
Console exclusive.
Xbox has announced the new Rare game is an
Yes.
Xbox next gen game.
Wait,
that
did
comes from
they say that?
Nanobiologist. But see, even then that falls back into what I'm saying, where it's like that's not an actual game. It's like Ubisoft being like, oh yeah, our game's going to be on it. I want like titles and console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you.
Yep. Halo 5 launched October 2015. Says Nanobiologist. 2
Nanobiologist
years
says
after Xbox One
The
launch.
comic book adaptation of Death Jr. was written by Gary Whitta.
Yeah.
Really? That's
What?
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Halo 5 launched 2 years after the Xbox from Nanobiologist.
And Lord Apone says Ratchet and Clank remake came out in April 2016, less than
Aha.
a month before Uncharted 4.
I knew it.
So there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. If you want to stay tuned to our post show, you can be a member over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames at the silver or above membership levels. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. There's been so much going on, so I haven't been able to hang out with you as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
But then I was telling Joey last night, I was like, this is our first show together that we
Yep.
do it. The first of many. Where It's
Yeah.
like even today, we're going to record another show. And it's just like, then that's where it's all.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Dude, I've been
all
super
gonna
excited
mesh,
for
man.
today because Gamescast, since that's just going to be like just one long
It's going to be a banger, man.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that one's going to be good. All right. What's up, post show people? We're going to answer a question from DJ Brad Chill. What's good, guys? I was listening to PS I Love You and reached the section where Greg and Blessing were discussing the multiple SKUs for next-gen consoles. Obviously, Series X is going to be a beast in the console world, and leaks of Lockhart show it to be the trimmed-down Xbox for most that the One S was for this generation. Greg argued that Microsoft might not be able to clearly launch 2 SKUs to the public without confusion as to what to buy. I see his point and agree that Microsoft should keep it as simple as possible for the best chances to combat PlayStation. However, is it possible Xbox launches Series X at a slightly higher price than the PS5 and the Xbox One X becomes the cheaper everyman's Xbox and Lockhart is actually an xCloud server for your home at a much cheaper price? I feel like this would fit into the family of Xbox ideology that Phil Spencer frequently mentions and also would make sense due to Xbox One X having more GPU power than Lockhart was rumored to have. Would love to hear your guys' take on this and congrats, Blessing. Love your input
Thank
on all
you.
things gaming, my man.
I mean, 100%.
I don't think that would be a smart call.
What would?
Having the Xbox One X current iteration be the cheaper entry point.
No.
And I think that would only
Is that
be...
what he said? Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah, I misunderstood too.
I
I
thought
was
he
trying
was
to figure
saying there
out.
was going to be another console that was the cloud version, no drives. Did I make that all
No,
up?
he
You
says-
made all that up,
All
yeah.
right, cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. He says, and the Xbox One X becomes the cheaper everyman's
Yeah.
Xbox.
Which I think is going to be a function of how the Xbox ecosystem works. I don't think that's how Xbox is going to push it.
I don't think they
feel
can message it that way.
They can't, because the X. It's because the Series X and Xbox One X, that's way, way too close.
Yeah, they want the X to be associated with power.
Yes, I feel like they're going to have the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S will be the cheaper version. I don't think it's going to be diskless like the SAD version of the Xbox One currently is.
I think it could be.
It could be,
Yeah.
definitely. But I also think that there's then going to be the current Xbox One systems that they've been pushing this whole your games work anywhere thing. So I think that it'll be more like, yeah, any of your Xbox One consoles work too. But that's the end. They're not going to like break it down to like your Xbox One X works too.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you with that. I could see, and the reason I could see Lockhart, I could see them taking out the disk drive because I imagine they want to do everything to get that price
As cheap as possible.
to compete with the PS5. Which is why I stick to the idea that like they just want to choke the PS5 out and get it out here. Because like if they could be like, yo, power wise, the Xbox Series X can do everything. Like it's the most powerful console you could buy, and it's $500 or it's $600. Like $100 more than the PS5, whatever that pans out to be, right? If they could put out the Lockhart. Is the Lockhart the name of the cheaper version?
It's the like Anaconda with Series X.
Okay.
Lockhart is probably Series S.
And is Scarlet just both of them?
Project Scarlet, I think, is both.
Okay. If they can put out the Lockhart at $350 or $300, assuming that a PS5 would be $400, I don't know, man. I think that sounds like a great strategy to me, because then you have people that are price conscious going for the Lockhart. You have people that want the most powerful console going for the Xbox One. Of course, like PS5 still has the library, PS5 still has the brand, PS5 still has the power of PlayStation. But with all the acquisitions that Xbox is making with their studios, I think they probably won't be as competitive against the PlayStation 5 exclusive, but they will be at least more competitive than they have been, because this generation for Xbox One has not been great for exclusives. My favorite Xbox One exclusive this gen has been Rare Replay, and that's just me as a Rare fan, right? But aside from that, I don't look at that console and be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, Halo 5 and Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break, is that what it was? Yeah. I know people love Sunset, and I know there are some people out there that love Quantum Break, and I know there's people out there that love Sea of Thieves, right?
Yeah.
And the Xbox exclusives there.
But it's more culty.
Yeah, they are more cult classic-y, right? And so Halo Infinite, looking as dope as it does look, and Hellblade 2, which I think is going to be pretty big, especially if
I think it's going to be really big.
I hope so, because I love the first Hellblade. That's probably one of my favorite games from this gen. And so if they have behind them the budget of Microsoft and they're putting their all into that game can come out and be something super
I
special.
think that they are doubling down on that, and they want that to be, their horizon.
Yeah.
In terms of star power.
Yeah.
Of having a lineup that isn't just it's Xbox, it's Halo and Forza and Gears again.
Yep.
So that's exciting stuff. But yeah, I want to throw something crazy out there. What if there were 3?
Oh man, that's too much.
What if it
me.
was the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and Xbox All Digital? Series D.
I feel like All Digital would have to come out a year after.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past them to have.
And I think they might do that.
Yeah, I could see that, because to do that at launch would be a bit confusing, because then you have to tell employees at Best Buy, or you have to teach them how to differentiate all these different things, right? During a holiday where there are going to be at that point 4 different consoles.
Yeah.
And what if Switch launches something this fall?
Totally.
Right? Then that's
Yeah.
5. But yeah, to do that the year after, I think could also, because that's the thing with Xbox. I don't see Xbox as a box anymore. I see Xbox as a brand, and I see Xbox as just like a service, pretty much, right? Of course they care about how many boxes they put in your living room, but they also care about software. They also care about community. They care about people that are dipping into their ecosystem. You can get Xbox on your PC.
And how soon do we get it on iOS?
Yeah,
Switch.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
I think that's going to be the major thing that they're pushing, and that's why I think that putting out as many versions of the box as they can, within reason. I think 3 is the limit, but it would make a lot of sense for them to just cover that market, and it's just give the options. You know? But there is that education process that's going to be difficult. We'll see, man.
We'll see.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the post show for today, Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. I'm Tim Geddes. This is the new face of video. Blessing Adeoye Jr. We'll be back, like I was saying earlier, for the Kind of Funny Games Cast Game of the Year 2019 discussion. Very exciting stuff. But until then, love you. All the good stuff. Bye.